Hello, hola. Welcome back to Color and Canvas. I was painting earlier. I did a really pretty pour, which you will see on another video. But I had a little bit of paint left over, like literally just the smallest amounts. And I wanted to use it up rather than store it because, you know, when you have like a ½ ounce of paint, there's literally drops left in here. I don't want to store that. So let me tell you about the paints in the cup and what we're going to do with them now. I was using the Pebeo Studio Acrylics high viscosity paints, primary cyan, primary magenta, and yellow. I haven't used them before. The painting that I just did was the first time I've used them. And these were mixed about 1 part paint, 2 parts Floetrol, and water to thin. These are really thin. These are like Dutch pour thin. They're just dripping. They're really not leaving much of a trace. This was the base coat that I had. I had a whole bunch of it left, actually. This is Montmartre. I literally buy it in the 2-liter bottle, just like that. And it's not as opaque as some of the other white titanium white paints. So I love using it as a base coat. It does an absolutely wonderful job. And so I just added a little bit of water to the base coat that I had mixed to make it the same consistency as these other paints that we're using. Now, the base, not to be confused with the base coat, I wanted to do a solid base and then just blend these together, put a hairdryer on them and see what would happen. And so I am using this paint that I get in Mexico, Polytech Pintura Acrylica Azul Celeste. So this is basically Azul Celeste. What's the other word for it? I'll think about it. Like, it's pretty much like cerulean blue. If you're looking for a similar color, cerulean blue will do just fine. I love these paints. I don't use them for paint pouring as much as I do for painting with a brush because I have not worked out exactly how they're going to go. Because a lot of it is chemistry, and I don't know the chemistry behind these ones. So right now I haven't sat down to learn. But I will, and they're really nice paints. So I'm going to paint the canvas solidly with this. That is going to be the background for the pour. It will not be part of the design, it will just be the background. So let's just get this paint on here. I will paint the sides as well. And then we can do some pouring and some hairdryer and see whether this little idea was good. I'm absolutely the worst for having leftover paint. Sometimes I enjoy having leftover paint. I go, oh look, I can paint again tomorrow. But right now, my house is a bit of a mess. We just moved in. There's still a few things that need repairing and doing. And there's just lots of other things to do in the day. So I haven't really had time to sit down and learn about these new ingredients that I have, or really too much time to experiment with other things. But I'm going to very soon. And I will show you the art room too. Right now the art room has been the art room and also the place that I've been Scotch guarding furniture. So I keep getting it all over the floor, and the floor is slippery, and then I have to have the door open so it airs out, and just I am not unpacking all my beautiful art room things in this state. I'm waiting until all of this work is done, and then I can show you my fun, lovely workspace that I have. And I tell you, you don't need a fancy workspace. And when we got the keys to our house and our lovely contractor, Manuel, asked what we wanted to do to complete the house, because it was basically a shell of a house when we got it. And he designed some beautiful closets, and he said, what do you want in your art room? And I said, I don't need anything. I'm just going to put up some shelves in the space where the closet is. And, Manuel is not just our contractor, he's an architect, and he has an eye for beautiful things. And he designed me a closet that I could not say no to. So I do have something very nice in here that I really appreciate having. But I'm telling you, I still would have painted if I had, metal shelves and a bunch of Rubbermaid boxes, I would have been perfectly happy to paint. You don't need a fancy space. If you have one, that's great. If you don't have one, make your art however and wherever you can. That's all I got to say about that, right? Everyone's an artist, no matter whether they have a studio or not. You can do your art. I'm going to put this paintbrush aside. I will clean it properly. This pour is not going to take that long, so I'm not going to clean it right now. All right, so here we go. We have this beautiful azul, absolutely gorgeous base, and I'm not going to let it dry. Normally I would let it dry, but we're not. We're just going to go ahead and pour these paints on, hit them with a hairdryer, and see what will happen. I put in a lot of white because I had a lot of white. I'm going to drizzle the blue on. Because we have our primaries, we're going to try and get a bit of a lovely rainbow effect with this blue sky in the background, if we can. Hopefully we can. I'm learning about how pigmented these Pebeo paints are just by working with them. And so it's fun for me because a lot of the paints that I use, I've learned from other artists how they work because they've used them in their videos. And this is one I haven't seen used very often, so I'm going to have to figure that out myself. And that's fine. It's just fine. It's fun to play, and it's fun sometimes to be surprised with what you get. I'm going to scrape out the rest of that yellow on there. And we'll see how far those paints will go without having a blow over color and a wet base around them. This could be very interesting. Let's grab the hairdryer. Think about it a little bit. I really quite like the way that it looks, but it needs a little bit more right there. Just trying to see if I can get it to move a little bit more. I'm just going to pick up a whole bunch of colors and just drop them here. And see what will happen with them. Quite pretty. Some of those colors are hidden underneath. I'm still wet. And right here it's a little harsh. I wanted just a bit more movement right there, and I think we got it. Now I'm thinking I may want to fill in that part. And I think we will. Let's just put some paint on and fill that part right in. Let's add a bit of color here too. Why not? Why not? I'm going to turn it around so you don't have to watch my head. Okay, well, you probably still see my head. I really like that, actually. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. You know, it's very organic. It doesn't really have a particular flow. But I'm just going to let it dry and see exactly how it looks with that flat base color. And see how these dry mix together. Let's give those a little bit of a torch. All right. Well, experiment with our Pebeo paint, leftover paints, and let's just see how this is when it's dry. I may embellish that a little bit. That could be fun. All right, I will show you the completely dried one at the end of the video. And I will encourage you, go play with your leftover paints. It could be fun, and you may be surprised with what you get. Anyways, thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.